Hi all, welcome back. Now we know how to create a table with a primary key. And we created a table called table continent with ID as primary key. And at the time of inserting the data, we inserted the data manually. So we inserted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as manually. And now let's create another table called table country. So we are going to save some data called country name and the country ID and continent ID. So for each continent we have unique ID. So we want to save whether India belongs to which continent ID. That we will save inside this table. So the syntax is very simple. Country ID, which will be a unique ID for each country, and the country name and continent ID. Continent ID means the country belongs to or resides in which continent. So let's create this table, and if you refresh, you could see we have a new table called table country, and we have a primary key there. So the difficulty, so whenever we insert some data, we have to manually specify a unique ID, and we need to specify a unique ID which is not yet inserted into the table. And it will be very difficult. So most of the time how we will design a table is by using identity. So identity means if you are going to create a table as primary key or any unique key, you could make the column as identity, and in that case you could specify from which value. If it is an integer, you could specify from which value the identity value should start, say 1, and how the value should increment. Auto increment by 1. So if let's drop the table and let's recreate it. So we are going to create the same table as primary key, but this time we are specifying identity, and if you specify a column as identity, you don't need to specify the value. It will be inserted automatically and the value will be incremented by 1 if you specify increment as 1, and the value will start from 1 if you specify start from 1. So let's recreate a table and let's insert some data. So the insert statement is already ready. So if you execute, this will insert around some 200 records. So let's select the data, and you could see all the table. So we inserted just continent ID and country name. This time we are not specifying the country ID. Country ID will be inserted automatically. So the insert statement is insert into the table column continent as well as country and the values. And we are not specifying country ID, and the country ID will be inserted automatically. And you could see the values are incrementing automatically. Now if you want to start the auto increment from 100 and increment it by 5, you could use this syntax, auto increment, or start from 100 and increment by 5. So let's drop the table and recreate again. Now let's insert some records. So if you insert entire record, and if you select the statement or select statement against the table, you could see the value is starting from 100 and it is incrementing by 5. So this is how the identity is working. So if you want to create a table with a column as auto increment, you could use identity, and most of the time when we use primary key, we will use identity code. Also, if you delete the record, say if you go to the data, you could see now we inserted total 1225 is the last value. So once you delete all the data, so you could see around 200 records are affected, and if you go to the select statement, you could see there is no record is there. Now if you insert the data again, and if you select the data, even though we specified the data should be start from 100, it will start from 1000 250 because this is the, so where we last saved, from there it will continue. And if you want to start from the beginning, you should use truncate. So delete and truncate will delete all the records. So in the case of delete, you could specify where condition to delete specific record, and if you are not specifying any where condition, all the data will get deleted. But in the case of truncate, we can't specify any where condition, it will delete all the data. And if you select the data, you could see there is no record is there. And if you insert the data again, and if you select the statement, you could see the data is started to insert from the beginning itself. So in the case of delete, the data will be inserted from the identity seed. If it is a 500, it will start inserting from 501 that words. But if it is a truncate, it will reset the seed value to 100 or whatever you specified at the time of table creation. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.